I'm Billy.
And I'm Jimmy.
We are the Bulk of Skull Podcasting, and we want to welcome you to the numbskullery that is the Zeo to Hero podcast.
Where creators and fans come together to share their love of their fandoms.
Welcome back to this episode of Zeo to Hero, where I'm joined with Jim, who puts his car in reverse to take him back.
Back in time?
Yes.
Back again. Rocky's back again, but this time as a ninja.
Can't believe yes, okay, yeah. Because, we copycats or something, whatever that guy said.
Whatever.
Today we are welcoming back one of our colorful guests. I guess that's what Jimmy would call. I don't know, Jay. I don't know.
We clearly called the last episode he was in. We called it the gay episode. We called it the gay episode, and it was hilarious. Everyone loved it.
Well, mostly. Let's welcome back the very talented and sassy
back again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his third appearance on this show. The third appearance. Yep.
Third appearance. When will he get tired of us?
Probably the fourth one.
Yeah.
5 months.
Probably in June.
About done.
Be like, I'm out. Bye.
So, what has life been throwing curveballs at you since the last time we talked, bud?
Wait. Does it not fly straight as an arrow?
What?
Life doesn't fly at you straight as an arrow, right?
No.
There's no straight part of your life.
All right.
You're not on a straight trajectory. Never mind. That failed.
That was that one.
I'm a bit. No, so just so for people that didn't catch, I guess the last episode that I was on. So I am the creator, writer, director of a little animated web show called Neon Lights, which is based on Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Tokusatsu, Blade Runner, kind of that cyberpunk twist on the genre. So we wrapped. So last time we talked, I think, was for the New Year's Eve show.
And you were just starting.
Yeah, right. So Act 1, which was like a series of kind of prologue episodes, had premiered, and we had started premiering Act 2. It's on a 5-act structure, the story. So Act 2 had just premiered.
Mm-hmm.
And so since then, Act 2 is finished. All the episodes are out there. They were released weekly, which was kind of a time crunch to get everything done. And watching back, there are some little things I wish I would have tweaked or like noticed, but I was, not rushing to get them done, but I wasn't as thorough as I could have been. Just a little, and I'm talking like little minute things that most people won't notice, but my eye draw directly to it. So since then, since the show, that act is wrapped, I've kind of stepped away from the project for a little bit just to focus on personal life. Things really ramped up with work. I am a theater teacher and director in the Houston area, and we've been in our competition season from January until last week. So that's been going on, and illness and car theft and just a myriad of things. Yeah.
A couple things, yeah.
Yeah, that's a hell of a couple things.
Yeah, just like you got like here, and then it's like right here next to it.
For those of you that Jim was raising his hand up to a level
like just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Like a hair higher. Explain the joke for the people who are listening by audio only.
But yeah, so the show is wrapped. I've stepped away from it. I needed some time personally to just kind of decompress and digest and analyze like what that experience was like, so that I can, when Act 3, when I start production on that, which will be soon, I promise, I can approach it with a fresh mind and a rested mind and a fresh perspective.
Okay. Now the question is, since they've pretty much like relax the hell out of COVID restrictions, will that change the dynamic?
As far as what? As far as the show? As far as work?
As far as show, like, because I remember the last time you said that you were doing it, you had all the actors basically talking to a wall. Will that
so
change
when we
for
recorded
you?
the show initially, we recorded in December of 2020. And because we followed the Texas Film Commission guidelines on COVID safety as best we could, they didn't really have any guidelines for voice acting. So I kind of took what they released and then modified it to fit our needs. And so all of the actors were sitting 6 to 8 feet apart. They all had their own table station with their own mic that they were responsible for kind of breaking down and setting up. So they were the only ones touching it. But the big thing was that all the actors were facing kind of away from each other. So I wanted to have the actors all in a room specifically so that the reactions would be more natural for their lines, because most of these are stage and screen actors. And so, voice acting usually is a solo affair. It's one person in a booth giving 10 or 15 different line reads, and then the audio editor kind of composites everything together. Our actors, while experienced on stage and screen, weren't as versed in voice acting. So I wanted them all together so that they could have that natural flow to the line delivery. Nothing has changed because all of the episodes have already been recorded. So in December, when we sat down to record, everything's already recorded. There's no going back, doing second takes. Everything's already recorded. Act 3, all of the audio is almost completely mastered for, and so it's all done. So if we are gracious enough to move past what we've already recorded, that would definitely change the process. But as it stands right now, it's such a time-consuming project that I want to deal with what's right in front of me, which is getting actors out.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Once you start a project, especially with like video editing and everything else, like animation and everything else on top of that, it's just all your time is gone.
Oh yeah,
it's like you're like, oh yeah, I can do this in an hour. 6 hours later, what happened?
That's like trying to.
Who are you?
Yeah, I feel that. That's like trying to fix a car. It's a 30-minute job. 2 days later, what?
Like, what happened to my car? It's a truck now.
Yeah, so right now, just kind of focusing on what's in front of me with the show. But I've been happy with the response, the reception. It's been mixed, which I kind of expected. I know the show is not for everyone, and I'm totally okay with that. Not everything is for everybody. And so there are people that had some very vocal criticism about the show, and I totally get it. And I even messaged some of these people and I say, hey, look, I totally understand where you're coming from. I understand that, this may not be your cup of tea. That's okay. I am not personally offended. I'm happy that they took the time to watch it and review
actually watch it and process it and make their own opinions.
But, we've also had some people that have been very vocal in their support. They love the world. They love the characters. They love the I want to say it's science or the logic that's kind of set up or presented in this world. So yeah, it's been mixed, but I've been very happy with it, and I can grow from constructive criticism. So people that didn't necessarily like it, like I definitely take their thoughts into consideration and say, okay, well, this is what they didn't like. I may not change it to what they want, but I definitely try to approach it from the perspective.
I just had this brilliant idea, and it's so you know how JP is running his own show right now, right? His own show and whatnot, and he has his like not similar, but like it's all digital beast. Billy and I made a joke about how we come onto the show as like the Buckle Skull characters, and we call it cryptocurrency. And like we just start popping up, and everyone's like fan shows as cryptocurrency.
Wow.
Like I'm just saying, like it would be like we were the Deadpool of the fanverse. That's what we call it, the fanverse, which is the Deadpool, the fanverse. And like we'll have the same continuity, like across all the shows. We
like
would be the same.
If we are fortunate enough to move on to continue past what we've already recorded, I'll definitely have a spot for you
guys. Say no more.
Oh man,
man.
Hilarious.
We could do like a little thing where like me and Jimmy could finish each other's
words.
There you go. Close enough.
Sometimes. Yeah, there you go. Close enough. We'll take it. Dub it. Put it in.
Yeah. Act 1 was really kind of, like I said, a prologue setting up the world. Act 2 is really like establishing characters and establishing team dynamic and setting up the threat and the plot and the universe. And then Act 3, which is what's to come, really hits the ground running, because by this point, characters have been established, the team dynamic is established, the villain is clear. Like, the villain is kind of a mystery throughout Act 2, but by the end, their intentions and they are revealed. So all the pieces are in play, and it's really a roller coaster of an act. It's my favorite one. I was really impressed with what the cast was able to turn out with Act 3.
Yeah.
So my question is, when you were setting up the show and everything, and I know you have to think back on this one, but when you're setting up the show, did you have a bunch of corkboards set up with like red lines going across it, and like circling things, like beautiful mind room it up?
It was a little bit of that, honestly. Not it was a digital board, so it was all on my computer, just kind of an outline. Because I wanted the entire thing planned for a couple reasons. I wanted to get all of the voice recording knocked out in kind of one stretch of time, because the actors have lives, and I can't count on them to commit to a project for X amount of time, right? And so if I knock it out, then for continuity's sake, I have everything I need from it. And the second was, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to have a real hard time trying to get there. And so I needed to plot out, where's the start, where does this end, how do we get from point A to point B?
It reminds me of Gravity Falls when it was airing. Like, it was already planned out. From episode 1 to episode season 2, everything was planned out, and so the show had a really nice consistency to it, because they knew where they wanted to take it.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I like when shows do that.
And also, for the people that are listening to this episode and have not seen Neon Lights, the story is amazing on it, and the music behind it too is
the music's
killer.
Fantastic.
So if you have not seen it, in our links, right?
Yeah, it's in our links. It's also it's in our YouTube as well. So if you find us on YouTube, it's there. It's in our link tree, YouTube, and on our website.
So,
and we have it mentioned a lot in the Facebook group, and we do mention you quite often on our Instagram.
Guys.
Yes,
that's right. We like you.
Yeah, it's been a passion project, and I've stepped away long enough. I'm ready to dive back into it. But here's the crazy thing. So this was about a month ago, and I felt like I was ready to pick it up. Right, I felt like I was ready to start working on the episode again. I turn on my computer, and my desktop, where all my files are, is blank. Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
What?
Everything is gone. So after I had this mild panic attack, I realized that everything was backed up onto the cloud. So it was just a matter of like restoring folders onto the desktop. But for like a good 5 minutes, I was about to lose my mind, because like all the work was gone. Thankfully, I had everything backed up to an external hard drive in the event. But a lot of that had to do with like rigging the puppets, which is a very time-consuming process for animation. And so I would have had to start that over from scratch.
I would have rage quit for like 10 whole minutes. Like, I would have just been done. Like, bye.
And to be fair, that's part of the reason there's been kind of a delay from me picking it back up again, was just because like it's finding that motivation to get started. But
where like you want to get back up and do it. You're like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, And right now with that was just a huge hit.
It sure
and
did.
Just sucked all the energy out of you. I get it. Yeah, I've been there. I know
we've
exactly what you're
all
going
been
through.
there. Yeah.
Oh,
I get
we're like, I could do this.
I get messages on Instagram and I see comments pop up on the YouTube channel of people that are, just now discovering the show and kind of like binging it. And they're very positive and welcoming. And so that gives me the motivation and the inspiration to, hey, let's keep going with this story.
Well, I know I want to see it finished. Plans
Yeah.
because I already started it. I want to finish it. So hurry up.
Coming.
Come on, man.
Definitely, the mindset with Act 3 is an expansion, like I said, kind of on what we've already built. And so, but that also includes like in terms of production value. So raising the stakes, smoother animations, better, transitions, just everything is just, again, that fresh mind, fresh perspective. What can I do?
Right.
Yeah. And like even like coming from me, I do a lot of audio editing. Even coming from me, like every time I pick up or I start doing editing, I learn something new every single time. Like there's never a day where I don't learn something new. And so like my production value just keeps going up and up and up and up. And it gets getting better and better and better. And yeah, you're honing your skills, like you're honing your craft, and you're doing really good at it, by the way. Like your stuff, like Act 1 was pretty good. Act 2 looks a lot better. I'm pretty sure Act 3 is gonna look fantastic, and then Act 4 and 5 are gonna be phenomenal. So like I believe I trust you're gonna have all this stuff figured out, because like you learn something new every day. Like, every day you learn something new, and, like you figure out a new little trick, you figure out a new like little way to make something work. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, if I learned that if I turn my hearing aid off, I can't listen to Jim bitch at me.
Pick up the damn phone.
Yeah, pick up the phone. So outside,
I finally got Instagram. By the way, you should look me up.
Yeah,
finally got Instagram.
We we caved him into social media.
Yeah, caved into using Instagram.
So. So outside of the show writing, you say you're a teacher and you've been very busy with UIL. For people that don't know, UIL is like multiple different things, but it's outside of like competitive of sports.
UIL is the governing board for all extracurricular activities in the state of Texas for public schools. So not only is it all athletics, but it's all fine arts, anything that considered extracurricular activity.
You would be surprised. I
did UIL for math. Do have UIL for academic.
It's everything.
I did it for math. Yeah.
And so the crazy thing is, with most of the fine arts, you are competing kind of against yourself. If you're in band or you're in choir, you go and you perform and you get scored 1, 2, 3, or 4 based on how well you do in certain categories. With theater, it is a bracket style competition. Where,
like March Madness.
Oh,
okay.
I thought there was a basketball reference in there.
So
that's the
each
one
round, you perform your show. It's a full day, and so every school performs their show, and then at the end of the night, the judges pick X amount of shows to advance on to the next round. And so if you are out the first round, you got to perform one time, you spent 3 months rehearsing, God knows how much dollars invested into this, and then you're done. So it's terrible if you don't advance. If you do advance, then you go on, and the next week you do the same thing again with the other schools that advance. So we were fortunate enough that there's 6 total rounds. We advanced. We made it to round 3, and we were alternate for round 4, meaning that if the school, one of the schools had to drop out, we would step in and take their place, which isn't frequent, but it does happen. But I think round 4 has already happened, so we are officially done with competition. But it was 16-hour days, 6 days a week. So Sunday was my off. And Sunday was the day I slept to get ready to do it.
Wow.
It's
Yep.
like Sunday. What happened
Off,
on Sunday?
staying
Nothing.
in bed. Don't call me.
Yeah.
Don't text me. Unless it's an emergency, you know where I live.
So you performed just that one
Right.
show
We performed the one
over and
show
over?
over and over. And I have mixed feelings about
Oh,
the competition as
okay.
a whole. One of the great things about it is that it's a state requirement that you compete. So for these schools that are in
Mhm.
small towns, it's the only time they have theater. And so it does bring that theatrical experience and exposure to these small town schools. Um, one of my issues I have with it, that I've been very vocal about, is art is subjective. You know,
Yeah.
With
Well,
sports,
yeah.
there are
That's
clear
yeah.
ways to determine points and fouls, uh, but with art,
Right.
it's based
Yeah.
on your opinion. And so, really, how
Mhm.
do you score art? So that's kind of my big issue with it. And
Ah,
Can
you got
Can
a
I ask
very.
you what? Oh,
I was gonna say you got a very good point. I never thought of. Never thought of that.
yeah. Huh. Can I ask you
so
what play were you guys doing?
I am very fortunate enough to, right now, work in a district that is fairly liberal with what we are allowed. Um, so
Okay.
the play that we did might get me fired from a more conservative. So, um,
Oh,
Okay.
so
Spartacus.
one of one of the great things, with UIL is that every school can pick a different show. There's a list of plays that are
Yeah.
approved, and if you want to venture outside that list, you just have to get it approved by the state. My play was not on that
Oh,
list,
Okay.
so I had to get it approved. The play is called Before It Hits Home, and Before It Hits Home,
Before it
and
hits
it
home.
is a
Okay.
play that was written in the early '90s, and it is about a Black African American family in the late '80s. One of the sons is kind of estranged from his family. Um, he is a bisexual man that has to go home and make peace with his family because he has developed AIDS during the height of the AIDS pandemic.
oh,
Okay.
So
okay.
you have him, his family dynamic. You have his bisexual lover. You have his girlfriend. So it's an intense show, and because it takes place in the '80s, and at the time there was no treatment for HIV/AIDS.
Yeah.
He ends up dying in the end from complications, AIDS related complications. And so the fact
Yeah.
that I could introduce this type of content with young adults and get them exposed to things that are a little more gritty and hard hitting has been great. So I'm proud of the work we did. The kids really formed an attachment to the show, especially some of our LGBT kids who didn't quite know the history of
Yeah.
HIV/AIDS and how that affected the community. Um, so it was also an educational show.
Ah,
That's fantastic because yeah, the '80s were rough
Thanks,
for the
Nancy
whole gay
Reagan.
community. It was really bad. Uh, yep. Reagan and Pence. Most very conservative
Right,
people just
right.
ignore the fact it existed.
Getting
Yeah,
to teach my kids about
that
the
was the thing
AIDS quilt was
until
really cool. And
oh,
uh,
you
and they,
that's a
know,
fantastic thing because no one knows it. Like
right,
us, we would know about it. We're a
right.
little
And so
older.
it's
Like
about kind of
we know
keeping
what it
that
is.
history alive with this younger generation, and educating them also on,
That's amazing.
STIs, sexually transmitted infections, and, how,
Yeah.
medicine has grown since then. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. I'm happy with how it went. I'll tell you, the night after we didn't advance, when we finished our competition, I slept for 14 hours straight.
Fair enough, man.
God,
I don't
no.
blame you on that one at all.
14 hours.
That
It was
is
the best
amazing.
sleep I've had in a long
Wait,
time.
is it was it one of those deep sleeps where you woke up the next morning and you're like, or the next afternoon you're like, what the hell
I
happened?
woke up
Yeah.
feeling I was like, I got
Ah,
off my alarm. Hmm.
Wait. Was it the morning where you wake up and you feel great, but you realize that you have like drool all over your face, and like you're sitting there and you're trying to move, and it's like all creaky kind of feeling because you just laid
very
for
much
14
like
hours.
a
Like, hold up.
princess wake up, where I and like the window and the sun shone down on me, and
Yeah.
And the dog's
it was
there.
very much
Yeah.
that.
Did you snore like little Nicky, like la 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 la?
But it was one of those things because it was on a Saturday. I woke up and I was like, I don't have anything to do today. I don't get rehearsal. I don't have shit to do. I'm gonna get a pint of ice cream and lay in bed, dive headfirst into this pint of ice cream and watch trash TV, and that's what I did. And
oh no, that sounds like a very, very reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, I will approve of this. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
I completely understand, and
it was
yeah,
weird.
No, totally do it.
Yeah. Now, what kind of ice cream though? That's
okay.
what
So there's
trying to
this.
figure out.
I don't know if they have them everywhere, but there's this little ice cream parlor here in Houston called Jenny's. You walk into a Jenny's ice cream, and it smells like heaven. And they have pint delivery.
Oh man!
Diabetes on dial.
It's expensive, right? It's expensive to have it delivered, but they have pint delivery. So I ordered 2 pints of ice cream and ate them over the course of the weekend. Watched bad TV. So one was called Brambleberry Crisp, which is berries and some other berry combined with like a strudel like nugget like inside. And then the other one was standard birthday cake. So it was cream frosting, sprinkles, but it has like actual like mounds of birthday cake in the ice cream too. It was so good.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Brahms.
There's no Brahms here in Houston, but every time I go to Dallas, I go.
I know. Well, okay. You know why? So Brahms, the guy who created Brahms, the original guy, he wouldn't let his people drive more than 8 hours total. So 4 hours there, 4 hours back. That was it. That was his rule, and he stuck to that rule. And there's only Brahms in a 4-hour like circle around north-ish Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool, and like I respect the hell of the dude for he put his foot down. Same with the guy who invented Costco's. He put his foot down the hot dogs. Like they will never go above $1.50 for the hot dog and soda. Like he's so same concept, but Brahms and it's not super expensive.
It's not,
but they're super healthy.
The closest thing that I got to any of that is Swoon from HEB.
Yeah, this one's pretty good from HEB.
There's HEB here. I've lived here 8 years. I've never been. I've never been to HEB.
It's a trap. They'll
That's a
potato sack
lie.
you right over
when the COVID pandemic first hit, they were the only grocery store at the time that was doing curbside pickup. So I did do curbside, but I have never set foot inside of an HEB. So
they sell Lightning Collection figures now.
Well, I've got all the ones that I want, except for the Cat 2-pack, which I pre-ordered from GameStop months ago. Still haven't.
Oh, I can literally go down to GameStop and pick that up right now.
I pre-ordered mine, and I still haven't gotten it. And then the in-space.
How about this? You cancel it, I'll go pick it up.
I'm 100% down. So those are the only ones that I don't have that I want. There is I've pre-ordered all the Ninjetti that you can pre-order, but those are on like a year delay.
Yep. Mine's stuck in New York right now. I'm supposed to have them by now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, we did an episode about the Rocky. Well, not really. It's not an announcement, but the leak for Rocky. We did an episode for that, by the way.
There's a leak on
the YouTube, by the way.
So I heard. All we need really is Aisha, but I also heard they were doing a Cat Pink variant.
Probably. It might be. I'm thinking more it's going to be Najeti or Ninjor. It's going to be Ninjor probably. Because, I mean, it'd be, if you're releasing the red and yellow ninjas, shouldn't Ninjor be in that
theory,
too?
yes, but this is also Hasbro and an easy way for them to make money. All they would need to do is do a cat head.
A cat head.
A cat head.
And that's another $23 out of someone's pocket.
Yeah.
But I've been on wanting the metallic armor figures. Yeah.
Oh, they're nice. They're nice.
They're actually really cool looking.
Yeah.
Like in person, they look a lot better.
I saw the cat metallic pink. That was the first one that came out, and I really liked it.
Yep. I can reverse that statement for the cell shade.
I saw that. That was bad. Why?
It's bad.
Yeah. They need if they didn't put blue in it, it would look a lot better.
Yeah.
Like if there was no blue in it, it would look so much better.
It felt like a cheap fashion. Like of all the things they've done, like that's the one they did. I would rather had the Rita body with the Kimberly head sculpt. You know, episode where Kimberly is, dressed as Rita. I'd rather have that.
Rita, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was fun. The TMNT ones came up pretty good.
Yeah, I was just about to say that TMNT
I didn't
from
read
the
the
comics
crossover,
really
so my interest level was like down here, was super low. So,
to be fair, that was like the first time I actually liked Tommy in the comics. Was in that crossover.
He's really good.
And now, now I like him a lot more in the comics now. But up to that point, I didn't really care. But the crossover for TMNT made me really enjoy Tommy because it's the not the same universe, but it's parallel universe. So it's like the exact same Tommy, but different universe. And so it made me like him a lot more. And then Draken just Draken's fun.
Yeah.
He's a psychopath, but he's brutal.
I don't know. Brutal. I am kind of burnt out on Draken.
There's a lot of it. There's a lot. In the newer comics when they do the split. And the Mighty Morphin follow Kimberly, not Kimberly. They follow Zach, Jason, Trini. There's a Draken subplot in there that's really, really good. And I'm gonna leave it like that because I know you haven't read it.
I want to say, and I don't mean this with any disrespect to anybody out there. Please don't take it that way. I feel like part of the reason I'm so burnt out on Draken is that almost every fan series has picked up and used the character.
Has it? Okay, hold on.
Right. No disrespect at all.
No, fair.
Yeah. You're right.
No, I get that. I totally get that. And like he's a fun character in the comics, and that's where he needs to stay as a comics. Like they could do like a Draken crossover in the show. That would be kind of fun. But like keep it in the comics. Like we don't need him everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fun character.
Great character when he was first introduced, and I think part of the reason so many different fans.
Yeah, and everyone jumped on it because evil Tommy's back.
But that poses that double-edged sword, right? It's like hearing us. I mean, we don't listen to the radio anymore, but like when you listen to the radio and they would play one song and you're like, oh, this is really good, and then they would play it over and over and over. And
for real.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've ruined a couple songs like that for myself. I'm like, that's a great song. I'm gonna download it and listen to it a lot.
Right.
And I ruined it for myself.
Yeah.
And so that. I feel, for me personally, the characters I've lost interest in the character.
Yeah. Well, this when you get into the later comics, you might re-pick up interest in the character in the comics only.
Yeah.
Like in the comics, he's really fun in the comics later in the series, and I'm gonna leave it like that because it's entertaining.
Sure.
I'll leave it like that.
But other than that, there's not much Lightning Collection stuff out, like the new wave. I'm glad, though, that they are now offering, like, the big box 4-pack. That's a really good idea.
Really
I mean,
cool.
people would... You could buy it by the case and get them that way. The new ones? Okay.
Picked up the new ones.
Yeah, there was nothing in that wave that really interested me. Maybe the cog just for the weapons, for Rocky's weapons. I could buy those secondhand on eBay.
But Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That 4-pack though, like you said, it actually caught my interest. I actually love the artwork for that. Yeah. So.
And the funny, it comes out cheaper than buying all 4 toys individually, or all figures individually.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out way cheaper. So like you buy all 4 of them, they come out to like $130, something like that.
Yeah.
If you buy the 4-pack,
and that
it's
also
$100.
helps with the issue of, when they ship cases to stores, there's a figure limit in some of these cases, and some figures have a smaller allocation in the case, like female figures.
Yeah, like who was it? In Space Pink.
Yeah.
Like there was 1 per box. Pink MMPR. There was 1 per like every case.
Yeah,
like,
that was it's still rare.
Why they are harder to grab, because they produce less in a case.
Yep.
I will say I really, really, really want an Izzy figure.
It's got to be coming.
All right. Like, yeah, it's got to.
Oh yeah, no. They just did Red, so there's gonna be more of them, and she's a really popular character. Like it's gonna.
Oh, she's coming in the next. I think 13 or Wave 14. She will be in it.
Yeah, like she's a hugely popular character.
My
like she's
other
gonna have
issue
something soon.
with Lightning Collection is that they announce these figures years in advance. And I understand like they do that to help with the hype, but also like the hype wears down, and so then it's just a waiting game. It's just like
yeah,
like they did the announcement for Wave Red Century. They did an announcement for a year ago.
Yeah, almost a year.
It's coming out in other countries, but not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hasbro, did y'all see today that they officially opened Hasbro Germany? Yeah. So they don't know if it's going to be, are they going to be just strictly Germany, or are they going to be like all EU?
Probably most of the EU, because they're pretty good about that over there. They're required to be able to ship across the EU. If you're doing business out there with that. Yeah. So that'd be kind of fun. Yeah. All right. Cool.
They better not get that. They better not get the Sentry before we do. I swear.
Oh my god! I swear to Jeebus. So mad. Billy, you know that the Red Sentry in the comics is this skull. You know that, right?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And then
when did you just find that out? Did you find that out yesterday?
No, I knew about that already, but read it today about it. How he turned on him from the inside, and then the coinless Zack became a Sentry to infiltrate the system too.
Oh, that was pretty cool. Yeah,
I know my stuffs now.
he's read it now.
I've read it.
I'm so proud of him. He's been doing this podcast for how many months, and just finds over
the
comics.
And a lot of the figures they're releasing are, they're starting to release more comic-based stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Bulk and Skull 2-pack.
I would super happy with that.
Dude,
like, I would love to see them in the costume.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it's so hard to get our hands on that one, because we're gonna need it.
But would you rather a civilian form, or would you want them as the Power Rangers, as like suits, as their suits?
Oh, that would be really cool. They did both, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that'd be cool. I'd buy that.
but like most likely they would do suits simply because they haven't done any civilian figures yet, unless you kind of count the Andros when he's in the.
Oh
yeah,
cloaked Andros. Nah.
Yeah. I don't count that.
That was a mess. That was a mess.
That was. Oh my goodness.
Terrible. Yeah. He's really the only figure that's like just littering the shelves. Like he's everywhere.
When I went to visit Jim one time, we went to Target, and there was no joke 48 cloaked Andros.
Yeah. I think it was going to be a bigger hit than it actually was.
Yeah, it's meh.
I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen to the Sentry. Is like we're gonna somebody's gonna walk in Target, and then boom, they're there, and then forget everybody else that pre-ordered a year ago.
So I'll definitely keep my eyes open on what's coming. But I've got right now, other than what I mentioned, I've got everything that I want. Because they haven't released the other seasons that I like. Where is my RPM? Where's
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll go this weekend for you, and I'll pick one up for you, 2-pack, and I'll have
Awesome,
it
thank
sent
you.
out
Yeah,
next week for you. Yeah, definitely.
well,
Where's my
and that's
turbo?
the thing is
That's my
that,
question. I
like,
want this turbo
what was it?
series.
Yesterday was the 25th anniversary of the film, and they, it would have been a perfect time to announce even like just a 5-pack. Like, if they're not going to do the whole series, do just for the few fans of Turbo that there are.
Yeah. Well, I actually got in a discussion about this with someone. The movie rights, movie and toy distribution rights, are still held by Fox, who is now held by Disney. And so toy distribution.
So that explains why Hasbro.
Right.
So yeah, it covers the show as well. So
Then
the show was part of the movie.
Then how did Renegade
And
Games
so
get to use Red Turbo in their Tom?
They probably paid Fox a lot of money to do it. And like if you look at the Phantom Ranger, he's on his box it says in space.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. It sure does.
So, yeah. Yeah, it says in space. Yeah,
because they can't use the name.
I'm pretty. Yeah, because the toy distribution, like figures and toy distribution for Power Rangers Turbo, would be held by Fox. So either they got permission to do it with Fox before they did the changeover to Disney, or
with
they
the
paid them a lot of money to do it.
Is that those are a separate set of rights.
Yeah.
But I thought since Saban produced under his company produced Turbo, that was.
It was underneath Fox and Fox Kids. It was produced. Yeah, Saban was just doing the background stuff. Like he was doing the production, he was doing all the recording and like everything else. But it was under that whole season was under Fox. Hence why when it went back to their hands for in space, they're like, "It's gonna be done. We're done with this." This is like this is getting conspiracy theorist kind of thing because we don't actually have confirmation for all this stuff. Like at all.
Yeah.
But the conspiracy theory is the fact that Turbo is still held by Fox, who's now Fox now it's owned by Disney, which Disney now has rights for it again. And I don't think they really care, but they're not going to give the new these rights to Hasbro without getting something in return.
Oh.
Yeah. Hasbro's been around long enough to know how to play the game. So they might just wait it out for a little while until the patent renews for it, and they'll buy the patent out or something like that, or not the patent, the trademark.
Right.
So we'll see what happens because it was Power Rangers Turbo the movie, and if you just do it Power Rangers Turbo, it's still within that 10% something like that, where it gets kind of weird. So they own the name Power Rangers Turbo the movie.
Okay.
So trademark gets kind of weird with that, and trademark.
Welcome to today's TED Talk with Jim Jam Dubba Dam,
where you learn about trademarks today, guys. And it's all against you. all you fan creators who use the word Zord in your fan creation, don't worry about it. They'll come say hi to you at some point.
Circling back to my show, like there have been so many people that are like, "Why is this not a Power Rangers fan series?" It is definitely in a spiritual sense inspired by. However, there are trademark and copyright terms where I doubt they would come after little old me, but they have every legal right to do so if they choose.
Exactly.